yeah, guys, you've seen it in the news, man. Everyone's talking about it. Diddy, do it or not? And ultimately, guys, I want to say this: we won't cover if he's innocent or guilty because that's not our place to judge. We're not the ones covering the case. But Marion's gonna do a fair reaction on that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do a very detailed breakdown on the case, guys, on this Sunday on Fed Reacts. I'm going to go over, like, you know, search warrants, informant, all the, like, you know, legal stuff and, like, how these criminal cases are actually done. I'm going to go through that. Obviously, that's not today's episode because we're on Fresh&Fit, but I will break it down. It's actually the agency I used to work for, HSI, is the one that's doing this case. So it's literally our New York field office is doing it, and I know a couple guys over there. So,
Mario, how could you?
So, yeah. I know I've been talking with some of my friends that are still on the job. So, Sunday, Fed Reacts is going to be lit, guys.
Was that excessive force? The amount of people that showed up to the mansions?
Nah, man,
artillery?
because you have 3 different search warrants in 3 different jurisdictions. So, you know, you know that he has paid security. You know what I mean? And you know that they're armed. You know, obviously after the situation that happened with Shine and stuff like that back in the 90s, you know that Diddy's, you know, not necessarily. He's going to have private security. So you're going to go in there with the SRT team. I mean, yeah, I would have done the same thing if I was a case agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have an article to bring up as well.
It's always better to overwhelm with force because you know that you know you're trained. You know that you can go ahead and handle the situation. But if you come in with less force, that's worse. And what ends up happening a lot of times when you come in with less force is like that's how the shootings happen. You want to come in with overwhelming force, so they just give up right away. That's how you always want it because you don't want to get in a shooting. That's the last thing you want to do.
100%.
So, but yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, we have an article as well to bring up just to highlight this as well. But man, this is crazy because everyone's talking about it. Your mom, your dad, local news station, everybody.
There you go, boom. It's right there. Inside the Sean Diddy Combs raids, emptied safes, dismantled electronics, gun-toting feds. Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes here. Can you enlarge it for me, Bills? Because I'm blind, guys. It was a major show of force. Does agents, some heavily armed, descending on Sean Diddy Combs' estates in Los Angeles and Miami. Television news helicopters captured action as Department of Homeland Security agents served a search warrant in what officials described as an investigation into alleged sex trafficking, claims the music legend denies. HSI yelled for those inside the star's Holmby Hills mansion to come out with their hands in the air. Combs' adult sons later told their father they had lasers pointed at them as they emerged from the home. Sources told the Times Combs himself was in Florida at the time. But much remains unknown about the case and how close authorities are to determining whether to file criminal charges. What do we know about the searches? Sources with a knowledge of the operation who requested anonymity because they are not authorized to discuss it publicly said it appears investigators searching Combs' Holmby homes?
Yeah, Holmby.
Is that the California one?
Yeah.
Emptied safes, dismantled electronics, and left papers strewn in some rooms. Federal agents disabled the security system and seized the hard drive, a source told the Times. That tracks with what some legal experts expected investigators would seek if trying to build a sex trafficking case against the hip-hop mogul. Dimitri Gorn, a former LA County sex crimes prosecutor who is now in private law practice, said investigators would likely seek authorization to search for videos or photographs on any devices connected to the target, anywhere where digital images can be found in connection to sexual conduct that would have been recorded. It is unclear what was recovered in the bi-coastal searches. Federal authorities spent several hours at both homes. Sources said Combs was in Miami at the time, but was not in his Florida home when the raid occurred.
He was trying to get up on a plane. Is that correct or no?
I think he was at the airport when stuff was going on. He was up in Opelika.
Right?
And for some of you guys that are wondering, because you guys might not be from Miami, Opelika is our like executive airport.
Yeah.
That's where the private jets come into. So anytime you fly private, you don't necessarily go into Miami or Miami International Airport. You go into Opelika.
And less traffic, no lines. It's pretty smooth.
It's interesting because it's in the fucking hood.
This is the hood.
That's where the private, which is about what, 20 minutes from here?
Yeah.
If you're downtown Brickell,
on a good day.
It's about 15-20 minutes from here, assuming there's no traffic. If there's traffic, it could take you an hour to get
a lot of gunshots though.
Yeah, lots of gunshots. No one has been arrested in connection with the investigation, although 2 of Combs' sons were briefly detained by Holmby Hills property, and Brendan Paul, a man described in a recent lawsuit against Combs as a confidant and drug mule, was arrested at Miami Airport at the same time the raids were being conducted. Miami-Dade police took Paul, 25, into custody on suspicion of possession of cocaine and marijuana-laced candy, records show. Where does the case stand? Sources told the Times that Combs is the subject of a sweeping inquiry into sex trafficking allegations and sexual assault. The investigation comes after 4 women filed civil lawsuits accusing Combs of rape, assault, and other abuses dating back 3 decades. Sorry, guys, we're on YouTube. Yeah. One of the allegations involved a minor. A source familiar with Homeland Security's criminal inquiry said investigators have interviewed some of the people tied to sex trafficking allegations and lawsuits against Combs. Yeah, that's a given. They have, in the Combs case, convinced 1 or more federal magistrates they had enough probable cause for one or more search warrants, said Megan Blanco, a defense attorney who has handled sex trafficking cases. Given the scope of the investigation, it seems they are further along than most investigations. Gorin said the allegations involving the minor could be a key focus in the inquiry. If a minor is moved across state lines for the purpose of sex, that is enough for at least an argument of sex trafficking because somebody underage cannot consent, Gorin said. Yes, that is true. So one of the ways and I'm going to talk about this in way more detail on Federal Acts, guys, but one of the ways that the feds can get involved is if you have a minor that's involved in any type of, sexual activity, etc., and they're moved across state lines, boom, automatically you've brought federal potential charges against you because you're affecting interstate commerce. Once you cross state lines, things change. And then the other thing too with the human trafficking is, let's say you bust like a prostitution ring or something like that, right? And one of the prostitutes is underage. That's automatic human trafficking charge now because she can't consent. So and that can easily go federal, especially if there's an interstate nexus. So that could be a very good reason why the case was initiated.
Isn't that how they got R. Kelly too as well?
Yes.
That's
exactly how they got R. Kelly, was because there was interstate activity between New York and Illinois.
Is it because he crossed state? That's why he got jammed up, or is it because there's a minor period?
The minor, and then it's easy. The minor is the main focus thing, and then it's very easy to affect interstate commerce. I mean, dude, use a phone, affecting interstate commerce technically. Sending a wire transfer and affecting interstate commerce technically.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah. So. Sex trafficking for adults usually involves some of sort of coercion or other restraints, he said, and can be tougher to prove. That is very true. Prosecutors would need to show you or encourage somebody to engage in sexual activity for money or some other inducement. Yeah, and you'd also have to prove that they were held against their will or something like that, or threat of violence, something like that.
Yeah.
What is Diddy's camp saying? Aaron Dreyer, one of Combs' lawyers, on Tuesday called the raids a witch hunt and criticized how they were conducted. Quote, yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences, Dreyer said in a statement. This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Sources in Combs' camp, who requested anonymity, say the star remains in the U.S. and authorities have not taken his passport. They said Combs has been scheduled to depart by plane Monday for a spring break vacation with his school-aged daughters, but opted to delay the trip after learning of the searches.
Wow. So he wants to stay and fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously, it would look bad too, I think, from a media perspective if he left.